Watson is one of the co-discoverers of DNA. In fact, he was one of the people who discovered DNA structure, and of course that is a very important foundation of the scientific field. Well, recently he made it known to everyone that he will be auctioning off his Nobel Prize because he is broke. Now, why is he broke? What happened? Why is he auctioning off this very, very important prize? Well, it turns out that in the past he made a few racist comments about black people, and now people refuse to hire him as a result. Let me give you the specific examples according to Raw Story. In a 2007 interview with the Sunday Times, Watson claimed that he was inherently gloomy about the prospect of Africa because, quote, all our social policies are based on the fact that their intelligence is the same as ours, whereas all the testing says not really.
Oh,
he continues,
God.
I know, he continues. Moreover, while he admitted that everyone wants to believe that all races are born with equal intelligence, anyone who has to deal with black employees finds this not true. Okay.
Not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And it's elementary, my dear Watson. So, a video done by TYT has sparked my interest. Supposedly a guy named James D. Watson, supposedly one of the co-founders, fathers, godfathers of DNA research, has made disparaging remarks about black people. And he's broke, and I guess nobody would hire him, and he has to sell his Nobel Peace Prize. And this is a scientist, we know that they're real smart people. Well, my thing is with that, I seriously doubt that this guy couldn't find any other work because of his racial hodgepodge. No, there's plenty of racist people who have said brickbat about black people or any other type of people that's able to get jobs in their fields of expertise. So my own humble opinion is that this guy couldn't find work because he's a wacko. You know what I'm saying? People looked at him and he's probably just too strange, off the rockers. Like the Mad Hatter exposed to too much mercury. But I want to go into this concept of, IQ. I've done numerous videos on the intelligence quotient test. And this TYT video was interesting because it has more negative down votes than positive votes, which that's the first time I've seen that. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. This is, it was unique to my eyesight. Now, I understand that the TYT are attracting a lot of racists, a lot of conservatives, neocons, libertarians, because supposedly TYT talks about black people more than a lot of these black channels do. Seems like every other video they talk about blacks or what some white person did to blacks or some sort of racism that black people face, as if to speak for us in defense of black people. And I guess a lot of white people are like, hey, why are you guys defending black people? Because the majority of I think TYT only has one black person on their staff. I know they have other black commentators on their show. So that's that. And plus with the Michael Brown thing, I've noticed that they have had a more, they're getting more and more of a negative reaction, and that word negative can be, that's an argument within itself. Gang Word do that shit up, he should know what I'm talking about on that one. But let's go into the remarks he said. He said that black people have low IQ. Anybody dealing with black employees should know what he's talking about. Yada, 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 rah, rah, rah. And the thing is, since this country's inception, white people have always looked, before there was any sort of scientific measurement of intelligence, white people have always looked at black people as just, I would say, dumber than they are. So therefore, they always had this belief, but then they're just going to run to any other scientific rhetoric, pseudo-scientific malarkey, and turn around and say, oh, we was right. Remember when we said we we said you guys were stupid, that you guys were lower in the evolutionary chain. Well, we admit that, it was bullshit back then, but now we have absolute proof. Now, but the thing is, when they used to do these tests, way back in the days, and they said blacks would score right next to Native Americans and Mexicans, and they said, well, blacks were good for jobs such as being carpenters, being boot blacks, bellhops, short order cooks, porters, cab drivers. Think about that scene in Malcolm X where Malcolm X wanted to be a lawyer, and they said you'll be good as a carpenter. And that's the thing. The black and the brown people were supposed to just do these menial labor jobs, while the white man can just sit back and ponder on the mysteries of the universe. But now they're going back. Since they have to demonize black people and criminalize us, they have to say, oh, we're not even good at that. We're not even good at simple tasks such as mopping the floor. That, what I'm saying? That it's due to our intelligence why black people can't perform good even at the simple labor. So white people are constantly to try because what I'm saying, the go all out with their racism, lack of a better term. They're going to just use any sort of hodgepodge, a whole lot of brickbat, boondoggle. Now, and that's interesting there. And I've said when it comes to that IQ test, its origins was really it started out in France, and its origins was to determine who's a mental case and who's not, who can function well in society and who can't. What I'm saying? It was a test created to test other white people in France, and I guess they expanded the boundaries. And and we have to understand that it's a culturally biased test. So then they're going to use this test, and they're going to, talk about all the, what I'm saying, and expand it over to Africa. See how see how Africans doing on this test, and how it goes is 80 to 85 is normal. 75 is below normal. Anything below that is dang near mental retardation. And if you score so low on this test, supposedly you can't even function in society. You can't do anything. And now they're linking low IQs with violence. And historically, white people have been the most violent people. I'm like, what is your determination of violence or your measuring stick? What is it? A thug on the street robbing somebody, or world wars? Violence is violence. Killing people is killing people. If you look at some of these wars and it's and the reasons behind them, I'm like, it's completely insane. It's batshit crazy. And so forth. And I wonder what the bootleggers will say about this. So therefore, white people are saying that black people are, act like degenerates due to genetics, due to how we are, brain size, cranium capacity, and not culture. And I already swatted that theory, so forth. Because when you look at the Nigerians, they are performing very well, in the world of academics in this country. And you have to understand that certain people, what they've been through in history and their lack of resources. And then, what I'm saying, using the IQ test, which it can easily be, that itself is a reason for argument. It's like comparing somebody's English from an English-speaking country from a country where English is just a secondary language. You see what I mean? And then saying, oh, your English is not as good as this person's English. But hey, this person is not from an English-speaking country. This person had to learn English through high school. And then when it comes to this science or whatever, what I'm saying? And people are going to, of course, racist people are going to cling on to science, to any sort of pseudoscience that justify their train of thought. But then when we go into melanoma and skin cancer and the fact that white people are living completely reckless just by going out there on a beach or going out there in the sunlight. I seen one video where white people said that white people should wear brim hats. They should wear long sleeve shirts when when exposed to normal sunlight because their skin can't take it. And I literally had arguments with white people, and white people said, oh no, they don't believe in all that shit. You see white people walking around hot as fucking hell outside, and they're walking around with you know what I'm saying, no shirt on. You know, and this concept of white people, I'm not saying all white people reject it, but you know what I'm saying, when it comes to science, you know what I mean, there's certain information people are going to reject and be like, no, and certain information people are going to clamor onto. So of course a racist is going to latch on to this information, and this information is just going to make him feel good. It's going to make him feel above, you know what I'm saying, blacks. And I don't understand, why did he just compare whites to blacks? Why not compare the intelligence of whites to aboriginals, or the intelligence to whites to Amazonians? And then the thing is with DNA, you know what I mean, this guy is supposedly the father of DNA. I did my research. There's a female by the name of Rosalind Franklin who created the groundwork of DNA, and that Dear Watson there pretty much grafted his research from the base that she created, you know. But when it comes to intelligence and race, I'm going to show you a clip by my man Thunderfoot there. Now,
by modern civilization is the knowledge gained from scientific investigation. I believe that essentially the only thing that separates the primitive Amazonian societies waving wooden sticks at planes in the sky from those who built and flew those exact same planes is the library. Seriously, you take a baby out of that jungle and give them a modern education, and their technical ability would be indistinguishable from ours. From chipping stones to silicon chips in one generation. From designing spears to satellites in one generation. I believe that anyone born today has this ultimate privilege of access to information that the combined intellects of Einstein, Darwin, Faraday and Newton would have killed for.
Now, in that clip there, even though I don't fully agree with Thunderfoot, that, you know what I'm saying, people who live in this so-called primitive society are just less enlightened. I think everybody has their own different methods of intelligence, of determining what's intelligent. But still, he says that, you know, anybody can learn anything. It's not genetics. That you could take somebody out of a primitive Stone Age society and, you know, put them to a library and they can develop silicone chips and learn everything that people do in first world countries. You know what I'm saying? Access to information. But the racists will tell you that, oh, no, they go by the bell curve theory. And I like that Thunderfoot compared, you know what I'm saying, the epoch of Western civilization to Amazonian people. He didn't have to go over to Africa and just compare it to African people and so forth. Because, yeah, there's some people in the Amazon living like what we would consider, quote-unquote, savage. But I think that all human beings have a savage nature, no matter what type of society you live in. You know what I'm saying? White people have the highest rate of suicide. But that's all I want to say. I didn't want this to be a long, drawn-out video because I covered this topic many times. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching and Sally Forth.